Tammy wants to tell Jerry this big secret because
What fans saw on television and what TLC kept hidden about Chris Combs' terrifying hospitalization are two very different stories. Hi everyone, welcome back to another deep dive. I'm Jennifer from 90 Day Insider, bringing you the latest updates, the drama the cameras didn't show, and the behind-the-scenes truths viewers deserve to know. When Chris was first introduced on 1,000 Pound Sisters, fans connected with him instantly. He was more than just Tammy and Amy's brother. He was the grounded, tough love, no-nonsense figure who kept the Slaton family from completely falling apart. Viewers admired his humor, his dedication to helping his sisters, and his determination to change his own life by getting healthier. TLC presented him as the show's unexpected success story, the one who pushed himself toward weight loss surgery, worked hard to lose weight, and became an inspiring figure. But what the network didn't show was that his journey was far from smooth. Beneath the positive edits and motivational storyline, Chris was dealing with a darker, more dangerous reality, one that eventually sent him to the hospital in a life-threatening emergency. His hospitalization wasn't the minor setback viewers were led to believe. According to several insiders, Chris was rushed to the hospital after experiencing severe complications from his weight loss surgery, the kind of complications that could have had devastating consequences. But instead of addressing this honestly, TLC quietly redirected the story, focusing on lighter moments, dramatic sibling arguments, or uplifting progress scenes, avoiding any mention of the real crisis unfolding off-camera. Chris began showing unusual symptoms soon after his procedure: intense abdominal pain, nausea, weakness, classic signs of serious internal complications. Behind the scenes, he wasn't just uncomfortable, he was being rushed into emergency care. But none of this made it onto the show. TLC wanted to maintain its transformation-focused storyline, and production staff reportedly struggled with what to do during filming as Amy's emotional breakdown unfolded before them. Some members of the crew were unsure whether they should intervene, while others felt they needed to let the moment happen naturally, fully aware of the gravity of Amy's emotional state. Even those used to dramatic moments in reality TV were shaken by what they witnessed. Family members, though off-camera, tried to comfort her, with Tammy sitting beside her, holding her trembling hand and whispering, "We're here, Amy. We're not going anywhere. You're not alone." But the depth of Amy's anguish could not be soothed in that moment. This wasn't ordinary sadness. It was a tidal wave of years of stress, public scrutiny, health struggles, mom guilt, and private fears all crashing down at once. What made the footage so extraordinary was not just her tears, it was the pure, unfiltered display of a mother's love. Her devotion to her children came through in every breath, every shaking word, every desperate confession. Viewers had seen Amy as funny, resilient, strong-willed, and loving, but they had never seen this version of her, the version stripped of performance and positivity, the version who feared losing the only thing in the world that mattered more than anything: her children. This raw emotion is something the show rarely shows because TV relies on edited storytelling. But this moment was a direct doorway into Amy's soul. Insiders described the footage as almost too real for television, heartbreaking yet undeniably human, a moment millions of parents could relate to but would never have to experience so publicly. After filming, Amy struggled to process everything. Even with the cameras off, the emotional weight lingered heavily. Friends say she spent hours alone afterward, crying quietly, trying to steady her breathing. It wasn't just a moment, one insider shared. It was years of guilt, fear, pressure, exhaustion, all finally collapsing. She'd been. Amy Slaton's life has always appeared colorful and full of personality on television, but behind the scenes was a woman fighting battles far deeper than what the cameras ever revealed. Known to millions as the warm, funny, determined star of 1,000 Pound Sisters, Amy carried a strength that viewers admired, yet few understood the emotional weight she held inside. Her story is rooted in childhood, growing up in a small town where life was simple yet marked by struggles that shaped her into the person she would become. From an early age, Amy and her younger sister Tammy built a bond forged through hardship, shared dreams, and countless moments of leaning on each other when the world felt too heavy. But school was often brutal for Amy, filled with teasing and judgment about her size, damaging her confidence and planting insecurities that followed her into adulthood. Even when surrounded by family, she often felt the sting of the world's expectations pressing down on her. Yet, she pushed forward, showing a toughness that surprised many, especially when it came to protecting her sister. Those who knew Amy as a child remember her as someone who loved deeply, cared fiercely, and always tried to find laughter even on the darkest days. That inner fire carried her into adulthood and eventually into the reality TV spotlight. When the opportunity came to join 1,000-Pound Sisters, it felt like a chance to change her life, share her struggles openly, and connect with others who understood the pain of living in a body that felt like a burden. She stepped into the world of cameras, producers, and national audiences with hope. But no matter how brave she appeared, the reality of filming soon took a toll. Every meal, every doctor visit, every moment of parenting, every argument, every mistake, captured, analyzed, judged. Amy often said it felt like living two lives, the real one with her children, full of messy, emotional moments that no one saw, and the TV version that everyone believed they. The alarms, the rushing doctors, and the overwhelming sense of helplessness left Tammy Slaton with a lingering dread she couldn't escape, a fear that tightened its grip every time she felt even slightly short of breath, as though she might slip back into that terrifying state without warning. It became a psychological cage, one that demanded constant vigilance and drained her emotionally day after day. Yet, amid the darkness, small glimmers of hope emerged. Tammy began pushing herself through small victories, taking assisted walks, speaking openly in her confessional moments, and letting Amy help her without resistance. These fragile steps gave her a sense of control in a life that had often spiraled beyond her grasp. They were reminders that although her physical health was unpredictable, her mental resilience could be nurtured even through overwhelming adversity. But her journey was anything but smooth, and every sign of progress seemed to trigger new setbacks. Anxiety flared without warning. Hospital visits loomed like reminders of her vulnerability. Emotional outbursts rooted in fear and frustration strained her relationships, stretching even the strongest bonds thin. The constant shift between hope and despair created a tension that even longtime viewers of 1,000-Pound Sisters could never fully understand. Her confessional clips during this period became painfully raw. She described long nights spent crying, wondering if she would ever feel safe again. Surviving one near-death experience did nothing to erase the fear of another. She admitted to guilt for worrying her family, frustration at her limitations, and the heavy burden of living her life under public scrutiny. These unfiltered moments revealed a mind at war, a battle few could endure. Meanwhile, public appearances and filming became acts of bravery. Every on-screen moment was a fragile balancing act between performing for the show and fighting for emotional stability behind the scenes. Fans saw the humor, Tammy Slaton's life has always been under a microscope, but nothing the public saw on 1,000-Pound Sisters compares to the terrifying truth of what she endured behind closed doors, a truth filled with fear, panic, and moments so dark they nearly cost her everything. Known for her bold personality, sharp humor, and turbulent relationship with her sister Amy, Tammy's struggles with weight and health had always been visible. Yet the emotional and physical suffering beneath the surface remained hidden until the day everything changed. One seemingly ordinary morning, Tammy awoke surrounded by the familiar walls of her home, but as she tried to move from her bed, a crushing pain slammed into her chest, stealing her breath and replacing it with a suffocating pressure that felt like her lungs were collapsing. Each heartbeat pounded like a warning drum. Each attempt to inhale sent waves of panic through her body. She tried to call for help, but fear twisted her voice into shallow gasps. When Amy rushed in, her face crumpled with worry, begging Tammy to speak, the panic only intensified. Tammy could barely get out a word as dizziness washed over her and a terrifying thought settled into her mind. She might not make it through the day. Paramedics arrived in a blur of urgency, attaching tubes, monitors, and oxygen masks as they lifted her onto a stretcher. The ambulance ride felt like an endless tunnel of pain, fear, and unanswered questions. At the hospital, alarms echoed through the room as nurses and doctors worked rapidly to stabilize her, inserting IVs, monitoring her vitals, and attempting to restore her oxygen levels. Tammy lay trembling beneath the harsh lights, realizing she wasn't just fighting her weight, she was fighting for her life. Confessing later, she admitted she truly believed she might not wake up again. While fans saw her strength and humor on screen, they never saw the hours Tammy spent battling fear, guilt, and heartbreak as she wondered whether she had done enough. In the meantime, speculation continues to grow around Tammy Slaton's future as fans analyze every move she makes and wonder whether she will continue filming Season 8 or ultimately follow Amy's lead and walk away from the show entirely. Social media has been buzzing with theories, and every post, appearance, or interview is being dissected for clues about what she might do next. According to industry insiders, Amy's conflict with TLC could extend far beyond the world of 1,000-pound sisters. If she manages to negotiate a settlement or gains enough public support, it could empower other reality stars to challenge strict contracts or refuse unhealthy filming conditions. This could force networks like TLC to reconsider their approach to contracts, mental health protections, and the way they balance creative control with the well-being of their cast. What is unfolding is far more than just a disagreement. It is a dramatic clash between personal freedom and a powerful television machine. Amy's bold stance has shocked the industry, captured the attention of fans worldwide, and started serious conversations about ethics, mental health, and the true cost of being a reality star. As viewers wait for answers, Part 3 of this unfolding drama reveals even deeper consequences involving Amy's career, the future of the show, and secrets behind the scenes at TLC that the network never expected to be exposed. Amy's decision to put her physical and mental well-being above fame and contractual obligations has set a new precedent, reminding fans that even beloved reality stars are human beings who deserve control over their own lives. But the consequences for her are real. She is now dealing with a massive $100,000 fine, potential damage to her public image, and possible long-term complications with her career. Insiders reveal that Amy has taken major steps to protect herself by hiring legal representation to review her contract, search for loopholes, and fight back against the penalty WG. Amy Slaton's shocking dispute with TLC has erupted into one of the biggest controversies in reality TV, leaving fans stunned after reports